Morning everybody, Holly here. For those of you that have been following along, this is day 9 of the 21 Day You Woke Up Worthy journaling experience. Today is going to be a little bit different. I'm filming my video very early and I'm probably going to do a little cheat and film tomorrow's video today and just schedule it to post tomorrow. Ryan and I are actually going to be taking a little road trip because we are adding a brand new little fur baby to our family and we got to go pick him up. So that's going to be a long road trip and we'll be on the road most of today and then tomorrow driving home. So let's get to this so that we can get on with the rest of the crazy day. Day 9 is called Loving Yourself Anyway. And this was kind of an eye-opening aha moment for me. In this section, Brittany West, the author of the journal, says that a lot of times the way that we view ourselves affects the way that we view the rest of the world. So when you find people that tend to be very negative, they see the negative side in everything, they're very critical of others, whatever the case may be, a lot of times that stems from how harshly they judge themselves or how critically they think of themselves or the low opinion that they have of themselves. And for people that feel good about themselves, it's much easier for them to look at the rest of the world with a really positive attitude. And I have had a really negative viewpoint for a very long time. And I didn't realize how negative it really was because I always did it in a humorous way. And so in my mind, that was just my sarcastic sense of humor when really it was a dark view on things. The other thing that it had an effect on was me just going straight to the negative in any kind of situation. Just, as an example, my fiance is very successful in his career, and as a result, he has job offers come his way all the time. People that worked with him in the past are always trying to get him to come where they are, and he's constantly being, recruited and sought after. And he might tell me about a potential job offer he had, and I would immediately find the negative in it. Yeah, but if you take that, then it's going to be this. If you go after that management position, you're going to hate it because of this. And it was very frustrating for him because it made him feel like I just wanted him to stay stuck in the place that he was. Even if that might not be where he was happiest or whatever the case may be. And that wasn't true. I didn't want him, if he was going to be happier somewhere else, I'd want him to be happier somewhere else. But it was just my mind automatically looking for, okay, what's going to be the worst part of this? And I would just zoom in on it. Versus someone with a more positive outlook that might say like, hey, wow, that sounds like a great opportunity. You should give that a shot. You should go for that. And it did cause, I don't want to say fights, but unpleasant conversations sometimes, because for him, it felt like, for example, it was recommended at one point that he go for this management position. And I said, oh, you're going to hate that. I did management for a long time. And I say, oh, you're going to hate that because if you become a manager, then you have to deal with other people's crap all day long. Anytime there's a problem, you're the one that has to fix it. It's a mess. You'll get phone calls all the time. You'll hate it. And it made him question if maybe the real reason was I thought he couldn't handle the job or he wouldn't be good at it, which is just not the case. I mean, he's a force to be reckoned with. And I think that he could be incredibly successful at anything that he put his mind to. But for him, it felt like maybe I wasn't being supportive of him. In my mind, I was just being practical. I was looking at the potential negative side because, you know, you don't want to jump into something blindly without thinking about the consequences. But the truth is, it was just my negative outlook on things. And I'm feeling different because now if something comes his way or a potential offer is suggested, it's much easier for me to say, hey, you know what? Go for it. Give it a shot. Give it a try. Why not? If it doesn't work out, who cares? Nothing, you know, it doesn't have to be permanent. You could always go back to something else if you wanted. And it really is about my mentality changing. And that's not to say that, you know, I get it right all the time. Sometimes I go right back to, you know, past negative thinking, but I am definitely more aware of it now. And if I find myself slipping that way, I start to kind of, you know, I try and catch it and rein it in and say, you know what, let me try that again. So that was interesting. Like I said, that was kind of a whoa, aha moment for me. So the prompts for today, the author says, write about a time when you judged yourself harshly. Given the opportunity to go back in time, how would you have reacted differently if you were seeing yourself through the eyes of love and compassion? So this one was actually pretty easy for me. I mean, I've judged myself harshly a lot in my life, so there were many things that I could have chosen for this topic. But the one that really came to me first is all the circumstances surrounding my marriage and divorce. So I got married in 2001, just a couple of months after my 22nd birthday. And I've mentioned in a past video that I cared very much for my ex-husband. I didn't love him the way that I think a woman should love her husband. But I judged myself very harshly for the circumstances of my marriage, and I pulled a lot of blame on myself that I shouldn't necessarily have. I was willing to take all of the blame for my failed marriage. Everything was my fault because I didn't love him the way that I was supposed to. That was all my fault. And the truth is, it took two of us to get into that marriage, and it took two of us to get out of that marriage. There were plenty of red flags for both of us. I didn't force him into that marriage. He made his bad decisions as well. Things weren't perfect. And I tried in various ways to warn him that I was not this magical creature that he seemed to think I was in the beginning. And he chose to ignore all of those warnings, and then everything that he loved about me in the beginning became everything that he hated about me by the end. His drinking picked up during the course of our marriage, and even that, I blamed myself for it. That it was my fault that he was an alcoholic. And again, you know, I realize now that that's just not true. I didn't make him drink. That was his choice. That was his self-destructive behavior that he engaged in. And the truth is, he did it before we were ever married, and he continued to do it on an even more disastrous level long after we went our separate ways. And I'm accepting now that's not my fault. I didn't turn him into an alcoholic. I didn't marry him with any malice. I had no goal or intention of hurting him. It happened, and I do regret that. And I don't take away any responsibility for what happened, but the difference is that I'm no longer willing to carry all of the blame. We shared responsibility for that situation. I put up with a lot of bad and disrespectful behavior from him because I felt guilty for marrying him in the first place. But, you know, I don't I don't bear the responsibility alone. He made his decisions as well. We both made bad decisions. We hurt each other. It was a mistake for both of us. And if I look back on it and am more compassionate and understanding with myself, if it was someone else's situation, I should have said to myself the same thing I would have said to them. You were young. You made a bad decision. You didn't do it with any kind of malice. You thought you had good reasons for doing what you did. And you had true remorse for the pain you inflicted. I would also say you have done your penance, let it go, forgive yourself, and move on. So sorry, I just kicked my little camera stand there. So yeah, that would be what I would have to say to myself if I was being more compassionate and kind, and I should be. I've been unkind to myself for a very long time, and I'm happy to be bringing that to an end. And I mean, I think maybe you're gonna slip from time to time, so if I can't fully bring it to an end, I'm definitely looking forward to cutting back drastically. So, what about you? What things in your life have you judged yourself much more harshly for than you would for your best friend or a stranger for that matter? Again, always, feel free to send me a private message or leave a comment if you are brave and bold. So, the affirmations for the day. I woke up worthy today. Simply by waking up, I am worthy of all that my heart desires. I am a beautiful soul inside and out. I love myself completely and deeply. I am perfect at being me. So thank you for sticking around for the video today, and keep an eye out for tomorrow's video. Bye.